Hi, Gaye DeRusso with the Majestic rider here today with Betty, the Standardbred. And she's older. I forget how old she is, but she's a teenager. She's up there. So Betty's the one who was a speed racker, didn't have many slow speeds. She had a flat walk, but that was it. And now we've given her a couple more speeds. So I've been working her in the arena. It's very muddy in there today, so I figured I would work her out here and show you what I would do if I was out here. I tried to clean her up, but she's still somewhat dirty because I only have so much time. So, when she came, I taught her all the arena stuff. Yes, did she know some of it? Yes, she did. She's tall. No, Betty. If your horse walks away when you get on, you just put them back where they were and make them stay there because many of these horses are stuck on go. They walk away again, double up how far you backed up. And just sit there so they get used to you getting on and not walking away. But that's something you have to do. Alright, so Betty came. She knew some arena work, but not all of it. Always check your girth once you get back on. And so we cleaned that up a little bit. I taught her also how to leg yield a little better and how to bring her shoulders in. She would flat walk, and then she would speed rack, and in between, her gaits weren't that good. She was a little rough, and she would get pretty pacey. Now, when she's loose, she just trots. She doesn't gait at all. So just because your standardbred trots when it's loose doesn't mean it won't gait. Just depends on the horse and if it's got that lateral gene in it. So I'm going to walk off as I'm talking. So Betty did pretty good, except she gets very crooked. So her hind quarter on the right side tends to come in. So as I ride her, I have to bring my right leg back and try to help her and hold that hind quarter for her like on the wall and to help her to stay straight. Because if I don't, she travels crooked. And when she travels straight, she will gait much better. So one, as you're walking around with your horse, feel its body. Does it travel in a straight line or is it very crooked? You want to hold them straight. You don't want to be gaiting crooked. Now, going towards home, which I'm doing right now, she travels much straighter because all horses are motivated to get back to their stall. This is just her regular slow trail walk. So she's one who will tend to look around, and right now she's drifting right. So you'll see me hitting her a lot with her right leg. So I had to teach her those maneuvers so when I stuck the leg on her, she would know what to do. Otherwise, it's not her fault. But now that she knows, she'll still test, like, can I travel crooked? And you'll see me hitting her with my right leg and my sticks in my right hand to help all of that. So remember, straightness is very important with gaited horses. Just many people don't know that. Now, each gaited horse is different. I know I'm wandering where you might not see me. And some are less crooked and some are more crooked. The walk-in horses are some of the crookedest ones out there because they're so flexible. They tend to just wobble. So those horses you really have to hold straight and engage them. So what I'm going to do is ask her for a flat walk by alternating my legs and just trying to hold her straight. So you'll see me pulling out instead of back because I'm trying not to impede the forward motion but to hold her straight. She's drifting right. So I just put my right leg on her. When you do this, you pick an imaginary line and you follow it. Try to stare at something. Like right now I'm staring at the pipes that are straight ahead. I'm trying to stay lined up with the bigger pipes. And each time you turn around, because again these horses can have stifle issues, make a large turn. Okay? Sure, you can do turn on the forehand and turn on the haunches a couple times, but don't do it 20 times. Make a nice wide turn so you don't bother their stifles. Then each time I'm coming across, I'm trying to ask her for a little bit more. Now, even though she can go forward and be go-y, you'll see I'm carrying a stick because at times she sucks back. Now, there's a tire track I'm following right now. So she's getting slow, she's getting crooked. You'll see her moving her head. Mares are famous at that. Like, I'll distract her, she'll get confused. It's really easy for mares to confuse humans. So you don't want to give in. Don't get into staring at their head. Just stare where you want to go and have a straight line. Each time I'm turning, unless they have a really bad direction, which she does to the right, but I did this yesterday, so I don't want to overdo it. So I'm going to switch the way I turn. If they have bad direction, I might turn right 5 times in the beginning if that was their bad direction. And then you alternate, so you don't want to make them sore. So I'm just pressing with one leg and then the other. Now her head carriage. She got a little bit tucked in. Either somebody rode her that way or she learned it to evade the bit. And as she got faster, but not in her speed rack, she got bunched up, which I call over-collected, and she got Pacey. And I have an article coming out on this called Over-Collected and Pacey. Imagine that. So a lot of other trainers who don't understand Gated, they want that pretty frame, which is beautiful, but you got to be very, very careful, because if you over-collect them and you pace them, you're losing some of your toolbox to get these horses to gait. So with her, I had to get her more relaxed in her neck and her back. So do I want her head down? Yes, because if it goes up too much, she gets pacey. But you have to find that sweet spot. So you'll see with her, I don't frame her up much. I did in the beginning to kind of test her when she first arrived, and then I found out, oh, she just paces like that. So what I'm trying to do is get her to lower her head and neck, but to stay in gait and just go faster. So this is pretty good. Now, if I wasn't turning around every time, she could go much faster, but when you go back and forth, and then you're going to turn around, the horse is like, this is stupid. I'm not going any faster. You're just going to slow me back down. So it can be harder, so you might need a stick or a spanker or something to keep them going. Every time you turn, it's not just turning around. You're controlling their body. So you want to be highly aware of where their shoulders are, how they're moving. Are they keeping their hind quarter underneath them? Now she gets to right about here, and this is where her hind quarter drifts right. So I'm holding her. You can't see it, but I'm holding her with my stick on that side, because there it goes. Now in time it'll get better, but the owners have to know we have to keep Betty straight from now on. We have to keep straight lines. Even if you're following a trail, you have to steer. Don't let them just follow that trail. You think they're going to hold themselves straight? No, that's more work. So see her wiggling around some, and I just keep correcting her. The more I warm her up, the straighter I hold her and get that right hind quarter underneath her, the better she's going to gait as we go faster. Now, it's much easier to me in arena because you have a continuous line, or if I was going up a road and I didn't have to turn around, it's much easier. Sometimes that happens, so who knows when I lost it. So we'll try and stay down here more as we turn, but there's lots of horses around, so it can follow other horses. So we're trying to get her warmed up well, engaging herself, and then pushing forward. The flat walk, the running walk, and the foxtrot, you need the horses to get their hind quarter up underneath themselves and drive. For your saddle gait, it's not as much engagement because they're kind of going up and down in that back end. There's more hawk motion. Hi, I'm just making sure the camera's following us. There's more hawk motion. So again, you just don't want to get them over collected. And I like to do a lot of flat walk and running walk because it actually strengthens their body more than that saddle gait does. But some of the horses can saddle gait all day long, and some it's much harder, which if you watch my video on Bender, the Rocky, you'll see it's pretty hard for him, and then you'll see what we'll get in the end. But with him, because he's so trotty, he's going to need his head much higher than Betty, even though they're doing the same gait, because even though they're both trotty, she's got more lateral gene in her that comes out when we start to gait. So this is more towards her running walk. See, same footfall, looks the same. There she just changed, and I half halted. And so all I'm trying to do each time is push her a little bit more with my legs. I'm still alternating. And then I'm pushing with my seat like she's a swing. And I'm pushing back and forth to try to get her to lengthen that stride and walk faster. So you really got to pay attention. Just like when I wasn't paying attention and looking at the camera, it went off a different direction. So you got to pay attention. What's my horse doing? What can I feel? If you really can't feel anything, then it's good to get a bareback saddle pad with stirrups so you don't fall off. Ride somewhere safe like an arena or a round pen, and you'll be able to feel so much more what that horse is doing underneath you. That's why I use crest ridge saddles. They're not giving me anything for this. This is just my opinion. But I like them because I grew up English. I'm used to riding with close contact, and that's what I want, so I can feel the horse's movement underneath me. If you have too much cushion in your saddle pad or your saddle, or you're too far off of the horse, you will not feel its legs as much. So you have to, if you got gaited, you got to teach yourself feel. It went off again. So let's see if we can get the camera back. I'm coming, people. Sometimes the sun hits the Pivo just the wrong way. It hits the phone, and then it won't follow. So if you have one of these, this is what happens. So I'm trying to watch it. See, here I am trying to gait and do these things, and then I got to worry about that darn camera. I don't have a camera, man. For those of you who complain, like, your video's a little shaky. I'm like, well, at least I have video. You can't have everything. Okay? You could just listen to it if it's making you sick. All right. So now I'm going to try some of her turns because I'm trying to stay on camera. But again, I'm not going to do a whole bunch of them. Every time you stop and then go forward, it's a little hard to get that energy back up. And sometimes you might push too much, and sometimes you might push too little. So you got to go back and forth a lot to get something done. So again, this is more towards her running walk. So the baddest thing she's doing is she wants to look around. So I'm trying to keep her head straight. That does make a difference in their gait, so keep them straight, making sure it's still following us. Good girl. And she just gets crooked. Whoa. So doing the turn on the forehand, which I just did back there and I'm going to do here, gets me hindquarter control. So she understands move off my leg, so that way when we're going straight and her hindquarter goes to the right, I just bring that right leg back and turn her head a little right when she's not being goofy like she is right now, and that helps to hold her straight. Good girl. But my reins are very light, even though they're short. That's so I can half halt and help her. I hardly have much contact besides like a finger on her. Okay, we're going to do the turn on the forehands again. You can never do too much practice of these. I mean, don't do it 20 times, but doing it 4 times a ride is quite good. No, Betty. And they will be different. See, she's not turning, so I'm hitting her. She's like, ow, Gaye. So the stick really doesn't hurt. It's less than a fly bite with how hard I can hit her. But there she started going towards the saddle gate, and she caught something with her foot and tripped a little bit. That's okay. You just keep going. But that's why you got to be balanced and sit back so you don't fall forward when they do those things. So what I'm going to do now is start saddle gating. You'll see there's a little decline up here. That can help those trotty ones if they're getting too trotty. So if you have a little decline, use that to get started if that horse is trotty and Mr. Meanie in the corner doesn't attack us. So what we're trying to do is, now that she has this, is just speed up more, see what she does, and then adjust her. So we're starting to go towards it now. So now I'm using 2 legs. There she was pretty good. The hard part is going faster, but not too fast, and not step pacing or pacing, which it might look like because she is lateral. But if I'm staying pretty smooth in the saddle, I'll slow some of the stuff so you can see it, and her legs are moving pretty separated, we're doing quite good. Don't expect miracles. You think you're going to go from a pacey horse to greatly gaited in one session? That's not going to work. It's just a slow progression. So she was very pacey and step pacey, so anything better is an improvement. So watch her and then watch me. She gets more crooked going away from the barn because she's motivated to go back there. Now she's getting too fast, so I'm half halt, no leg, half halt to slow her back down. So that's what Betty does, is sometimes she gets a little too fast because it was easy for her, and that's why a lot of the speed record, they just go slow and then fast. It's hard to get all these gaits in between, but if you just fly and then pull on them, sometimes you can get that gait, but you won't have the in-between stuff. So I'm still trying to hold her straight. You'll see my hands going now too fast. Half halt, half halt, half halt, half halt. See her start getting bunched up, and then I release. Because if I don't release, she's going to get too bunched up, and then she's going to pace, okay? When you make the turns, do it slow. Don't hurt them by spinning them around without any idea what you're doing. So just go slow around the turn. It's hard. Get them to bend. Work on your bending. Then slowly speed back up. So the trick is add light leg. She's going, but not saddle gait, and then a little bit more leg. Hold her straight. That's my left reine's opening up. My right reine's against her, and my right leg. She got a little bunched up, so I released. She got too fast. I half halted. She's still too fast. Another half halt. Another half halt. Still holding her straight. You're probably like, oh my God. That's why she's sent to me, so they don't have to do these things. And then it will be easier once they get back on. They'll know what to do, but Betty will be better and have her job. The phone went away again. So we're having problems today for some reason with the lighting. Now, if you stick it out and watch this video, even though it's being annoying, you might learn something. Like that the Pivo can be a pain at times. I think what happened is I went by, this horse came up, and guess what? Even though it said it wouldn't do this in advanced mode, it's looking at that black and white horse. Hello, Pivo. Come with me. See? What a pain this is. This is why I show you guys a lot of videos, but I don't show everything because look how much longer it's taking me because I have to keep going back over there and getting that camera. If I put it on the other side, it's too close. All right. So Betty's doing well. We're going to saddle gait some more. Remember, it's good to time it. So you know how long you've been doing it. You know, start with trying to get 2 to 3 minutes of gait, or 1 minute if you don't have any gait. And then over time, add more and more. But lightest leg, then more and more. Then your half halts if getting too fast. And if they bunch up, release, pull, release, pull. Because if they get too... Because if they get too bunched up, we're going to try and turn before this horse. If they get too bunched up, wide turn, that's when they'll start getting over-collected and pacey. Now I can speed her right back up now because I got the feel of her. But you might not have the feel of your horse, so it's better to go slow and then faster, faster, faster till you get the gait you want. If you do it correctly, they'll just go into it. But again, you have to get the frame for that horse, and each one's different, but the pacey ones, the frame's a little lower, and the trotty ones, the frame's a little higher. That means their head's higher. And by doing that, it causes some tension around their spine, which helps them to get that saddle gait. So I think Betty's doing quite well. I'll try and show you her other video where she looked very pretty. Very pretty, but she was bunched up and pacing and step pacing. But if you didn't know what you're looking for, she could have sold for a lot of money. And a lot of people don't. That's the problem. So educate yourself what the gaits are. Look at the horse's feet. See how they're riding it. See if the camera follows us. No, it didn't follow us. See, it's getting stuck on that horse. And that's how annoying things can be. Okay. At least we figured out the problem, right? That horse doesn't own videotaping. So when you're doing this, don't allow the horse to just keep picking up speed. Get them in a slower speed with the correct footfall for the gait that you're getting, be that a running walk, a foxtrot, or a saddle gait, and then work at it, get it really good slow, and then start adding speed. But a lot of you just want to go faster, 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 and the horse isn't ready for it. That's like me going, hey, you want to run a marathon? Let's do it tomorrow. You're not prepared. You can't do it. You're not going to do well. So you got to go slow, build up those muscles, get the feel. You should feel that little wiggle in the saddle. You could step in your stirrup side to side to help the horse follow your rhythm. We're going to keep turning here since we learned our lesson with this horse. And you can do so many things to help them, but you have to know how to half halt, how to use your pelvis, how to slowly speed up, and then you got to get some feel. Now Betty's doing pretty well, and the camera's annoying me, so I think that's about it for today. So let's go back over there so you can see. So when I do quit, I quit away from the barn. So I'm going to quit down here next time. But we'll show you just a little bit more. So again, you see I'm not picking up a lot of speed with her here. I'm just trying to get that quicker footfall of the saddle gait and then get it pretty smooth and then be happy with it. You just want to get on camera, don't you? Well, you're ruining it for me. This is how I talk to the horses all day. So that was good with Betty. So now I'm just back to a walk. And let's practice some backups while we're out here. You can practice everything out here. You want a good backup. You want them straight. She was doing pretty good against the fence, but see how she's waddling now? And it's not very good. It's slow, so would like it a little faster, less waddle, and straighter. All this adds up. So you got to practice it so it does get better. She might not be happy about it, but big deal. It's a couple steps, Betty. Making sure you're still following me. So one more time. And then if I'm done after the backup, I'm making the backup a better thing. So teach them to steer backwards. They show you, if you back up and they always go right, they're weak on the right side. If you back up and they're always left, they're weak on the left side. If they back up and they go right, left, they're all over the place. They just don't know. So it can tell you a lot about them. Now she's a little crooked right here, so I'm just getting her right hind leg underneath her before I get off. But overall, I think Betty's doing great. She has the idea. She's smart. She knows what she's supposed to do. She might mess with you, but she knows what to do. It's just keeping her in the right frame, not bunching her up, not holding her too much, having that feel, and she'll get there. But just know that some of the horses that are pacing and they're all curled up in a ball with their head down and they look really pretty besides the pace, those are the horses that need to lengthen their neck and back and relax more. And that hardest part is if you hold them, they just bunch up more because somebody told them really well, like how to give to the bit. So now you have to give more and then try to relax that out. You might have to let their head go way down towards their knees in the beginning, but be careful. Some of them will trip when they do that. But get them to lengthen and then slowly raise their head up just by picking up once in a while so you kind of get that head level or a little bit above the saddle where you saw her head. So again, it's not always just head down. It's the relaxation and the tension, so it becomes very confusing. But just remember, Pacey horses that are over collected and they're pacing, your secret is they have to relax and lengthen more, and then your gait is probably right there if you ride everything else correctly. All right. Hope that helps.